everyone, I'm Zero Convoy, and today we're looking at the Zenkaiger Change Heroes Zenkai Juran from the Super Sentai Zenkaiger. This figure is made by Bandai, and I purchased it from HobbyLink Japan. So, quick disclaimer, I know absolutely nothing about Super Sentai. I didn't grow up with Power Rangers, I don't really have any form of trivia or much info about this figure. But I did look up some pictures and just some general things on a wiki. So hopefully I can be of some use or be somewhat helpful reviewing this figure. So please bear with me, and if I say something wrong, I'm sorry in advance. I'm not a Power Ranger fan, I'm not really a Sentai fan, but I thought this thing looked really cool. So that's why it's here. The box is one of those blister packages that pretty much get tossed right off the bat. However, and I was surprised by this, that after opening the box, the whole back card or the backing to it is actually the instructions, which fold out. I thought that was pretty cool to see, and we'll get more on that later. Moving to the figure itself, it looks pretty cool. The elements that are callbacks or references to the original Power Ranger Megazord are pretty neat. The bits of gold on the arms does a nice touch to break up the solid black that the arms are, which is honestly my only real complaint when it comes to the color apps on this. The T-Rex head, while simple in design, is very cool. The details on the waist are a nice bonus too. The legs, however, these are what steal the show in terms of the paint apps. For a very basic toy, the legs are actually well done. If you compare it to, say, the actual character design, the legs they're in the ballpark. And for how much this figure costs and what it is, I appreciate the work they put on the legs. In fact, all the colors except the arms, I think, are really good. And looking at the original design, it's not really that I have problems with the toys paint apps. I think I just have a problem with the way the arms are designed overall. The shield itself has a nice little dino stamp, which that attention to detail is actually really good, and it looks like it was very well done putting it on here. The head, however, this has to be the best part of the figure. It's very detailed. There's really no, as far as I can tell, shortcuts in the design, like, oh, we didn't paint the white here, we didn't paint the gold here, or whatever. The head is actually well done, and I like it. So overall, I like the way this figure looks. The colors are nice. While it isn't the best because it's a toy, it's a low end or very kid oriented toy, the colors are nice, and the paint apps, the design, I think it's good. I'm not really a fan of the arms, but I give it a pass on looks. However, I cannot say the same for the accessories. We only have one real accessory to this figure, and that is the sword that it comes with. It's known as a Juran sword from what I saw, and I have to say it is the weakest part of this figure. While I understand that this toy is meant for children, I can't understand why it looks so bland. Especially when it's the sword, it's the only thing that it comes with, and it's such a bright color that I feel like it should have been at least a two-tone thing. I'm not expecting it to be a one-to-one recreation of the counterpart from the show, but at least put a little bit of white on the blade itself. It's obvious that you can do two-tone, it's all over this figure, but I guess for whatever reason the people at Bandai thought, nah, we're just gonna leave it as a bland red piece of plastic. Additionally, the entire other half of the sword is just hollow. There's hollow points on this figure, don't get me wrong, but it just bugs me when you can't really hide it, when you literally have half the sword hollow. It's like you buying a weapon for a transformer or something and the other half is just not there. Moving on to articulation, this figure is extremely articulated, like, no joke. I'm showing off different poses that I was able to put it in. This thing is articulated. The only limit I have on it that bugs me is it doesn't have any wrist articulation. And honestly, I went in not expecting it to have any real articulation. But to see that it's able to bend its knees, elbows, do nearly the splits, all this like very nice articulation, and no actual pivot or ball joint or anything on the or the wrists, it just bugs me. But overall, the articulation on this figure, I did not expect it, and it is very, very good. On the flip side, however, the limbs like to pop off. Like this figure, while it is very articulated, it will fall apart. But it's not like just boom, it disintegrates or falls to pieces. It just annoyingly, oh, it pops off, then pops back on. Like the figure feels very solid. Holding it up, it feels solid. But once you start moving it around, the limbs just have a tendency to pop off. And I get why it's doing it. It goes into the overall gimmick, but it just is such a little annoyance, and that's all it is. It's just a little annoyance. But it's nothing like terribly to where, oh, this is a horrible figure. And again, you gotta keep in mind who this is meant for, the audience, the price point, and all that stuff. Getting into the gimmick that I just mentioned, this figure can transform. And I say that because I don't know what to call it. Is it parts forming? Is it like a Lego? This is a very unique transformation. Transforming this thing is definitely just a disassembly and a reassembly. And with that, here it is, the transformation, the dinosaur mode. And in my opinion, I hate it. I really do. I know what I was saying earlier, but it's a kid's toy. It's you gotta be this and that. I'm sorry. Looking up images of I'm guessing what it's supposed to be or what it was based on. This is really a weird mix-up, and I get it. You don't. And like Transformers, you have kibble, you have things that are designed to cover up the robot bits. This doesn't have that. It's literally a little figure that can be rearranged into a dinosaur. But I feel like it could have been done so much better. The limb popping issue is extremely worse in this mode. The legs just love to pop off. The articulation that I praised I guess, Sentai form on is completely gone. Like, that's just gone. All that there is are the legs, and they love to pop off. Like, this is very strange. And now, here is a quick little size comparison. So, my closing thoughts. This is a very odd figure. I understand who the audience for it is. I understand where it's supposed to go. But man, is it weird. Like, it is a strange middle ground. On the one hand, you have a very decent, if not amazingly articulated figure for its price point, with decent colors that invoke the character of the show. But on the other hand, you have a gimmick that results in a very jarring dinosaur mode, and because of the gimmick, it just hurts the positives that the robot Sentai mode gives. And because of that, it honestly weighs down on this figure. Like, really, if it didn't have the gimmick, yeah, I'll be honest, I'll probably get a little bored with it. But at least it would be solid. And I'll have a solid looking Megazord guy, which would be pretty cool. Looking at it from a conceptual point of view, I like it. The idea of the robot Sentai guy turning into an art mode like this is honestly really cool. It, like I said, reminds me of Cubics from years ago, but I can't help but feel it could have been done a lot better. Maybe like move the head down into the dino mode's back or chest, or paint the sword with a bit of white on it. Just the little things here and there, just that little more. And I probably would have enjoyed this thing a lot more. And this is coming from someone who didn't grow up with the Sentai stuff. So, between the two modes, I honestly like the robot mode more. It's much more put together. I think its articulation's really well. Like, it flows so much more than the dinosaur mode. So overall, I think it's a cool little figure. It's a very unique one to say the least. I can't really say I have anything like this. The closest thing I can think of are the weaponizers that Hasbro put out a few years ago. And at the same time, the design invokes a sense of nostalgia. And from what I gathered looking it up, that's the point. This Sentai series is supposed to be a callback to the previous Sentai shows. And even me, someone who honestly didn't grow up with anything about Power Rangers, I can appreciate it. I just wish the sword had some white on it. Maybe I'll paint it. But, if you think this figure is pretty cool, and you want other goods like this, well, why not check out Hobbylink Japan? HLJ has many Sentai related figures for nearly any type of fan, as well as other various merch from various animes and video games. Definitely check out the affiliated link below. Let them know I sent you there. And with that, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out my other social medias for anime and figure related content. And I'll see you all on the next video.